Hey guys, this is a ranked match on Dry Arabia. It's kind of cool with the new update. The map shows up on the left on the loading screen, even when you're playing. We're playing against Knight, and he's playing as France. This is our third placement match. The second one was against a Malian, but he quit at like the 7 minute mark. I mean, I guess we can look at it just to check it out. But he quit, so I didn't really get a chance to play. We have a pretty decent spawn here. Gold right next to wood, which is always really good. Close sheep, and the ooh is actually pretty close too, which is gonna actually be pretty big in the long run. So what I just kind of do, kind of just standard, is fast H2 and double produce Mangudai until we've got about 6 out, and caster mode. Whoa. Okay. That's cool. All right. So wow, we can even see scores and stuff here. So this is pretty cool. Wow, I don't know how to go back. Interesting. Okay, so that's super cool. Over here, the French knight over here, he's got 7 villagers on food, 2 on gold. Let's switch this. Okay, cool. We can see the layouts for both of them up there, and we have this balance of power up at the top. He has a little bit of a villager lead because we are Mongol. I wish we could kind of toggle our vision here, but we can't. But we do pick up a whole bunch of sheep, which is really big. So we get this really big sheep collection early. He doesn't go for double scouts, which I mean, it saved us a bunch, that's for sure. Because transitioning later on to food does become kind of an issue. Army value, we're at 120 and he's at 70, but we both have one. Oh, because my con, I guess, is 120 army value. Okay, interesting. Hmm. I like this caster mode. I wish I could I knew how to. Religious statistics, overview statistics. Relics are on both of those, which is kind of weird. Army value and destroyed value, worker kills. Okay. Okay, he's gonna drop his school of cavalry. I am dropping the deer stones up. He's got 3 on his school of cavalry, so he's looking to tap up a little bit slow. And we're tapping up a little bit faster. Just to get that timing for the raid. Since we do have to build an archery range. Over here he's got 5 sheep. And we're picking up. We didn't scout up here. He must have. I kind of wish I could turn this off though, just so I could see um, what was going on beforehand. I'm sure you have to know the hotkeys. If you know the hotkeys, I'm sure you can switch around. Switch to regular UI. Okay, let's switch to regular UI. Selected player only. And now if I go to caster mode. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, anywho. He's scouting up here, but there was no sheep up there, so both of us kind of got lucky in that we didn't really scout that. At this point in time, I start scouting his base, and I start to get some vision. I wish I had the toggle button for vision, because then you could see that I've scouted out this wood line and this, and I can see his TC, and I'm just scouting around the side here, and I see his gold line. Just a little bit of harass, just kind of more psychological than anything. This damage isn't going to amount to much. Um, so we're going to finish scouting around the side here. We get our age up time, so we're just kind of figuring that he's getting close to aging up as well. And we do spot his school of cavalry here. So we're going to come back, fall back. There was a strip of map that I didn't scout yet over here. And we're just going to scout it and see if there's any deer. And there wasn't any deer there, or I mean sheep. So from here, we are rallying villagers onto food. These 2 villagers that finished the archery range are going to go onto wood. And The four villagers from Deerstones, two went to build this, one went to gold, and one went to food. So I usually do two to gold, two to the archery range, but this time I'm kind of switching it up. I'm going two to the gold, or I'm sorry, two to the archery range, one to food, one to wood, one to gold, and then the two from the archery range over to wood, and then instead of dropping a blacksmith second, I'm dropping a stable second. So the idea behind this, excuse me, the thinking behind this is that once he sees Mangudai and he sees the range, he's gonna start building archers of his own. Um, French almost always goes archers anyways, so the stable is going to do really good to kind of help counter that, and it does come pretty clutch that we go with this early stable instead of the blacksmith. He does have wheelbarrow in terms of upgrades. Point wise, we pulled ahead about 300 points, which is pretty nice. We kind of skirmish him off of the gold, but we can't fully maintain him off of it. Got more Mangudai coming, but he does have an archery range up, and he's cranking out units. So he was expecting the Mangudai push, so good on him having archers out immediately. And we see this, and we're just kind of going to mass up with our Mangudai here. And we can kind of take this fight here. We just have to be careful about the knight doubling back on us. And that's kind of what we do. So, and he's playing, getting out the archers, which is good. But if he had dropped a tower here a little earlier, it might have secured it. He does seem to be housed here. Yeah, he is housed. He's housed up there. We do kill one archer, and we're keeping him off of gold, which is big. I mean, he has basically 300 gold right now. And he's building another knight. I guess Mangudai and double production Mangudai are in different tabs. We find his wood line here. We try to snipe one wood villager, but it wasn't going to be worth it. We were going to lose a Mangudai, so we had to fall back. And this is kind of where this horseman switch is really really useful. 6 Mangudai now. We know that these guys are coming out here, and these 5 archers are gonna struggle to kill these Mangudai, to be honest, or to kill this horseman. You can see these 5 archers. I trade out with my horseman, but I've taken these archers off of my Mangudai. My Mangudai can now work on this royal knight, and the big thing is really that that space. Just one horseman can fight 5 archers basically, and kill one. And so with the second you get like 2 or 3, it becomes a huge difference. He does a good job of kind of looking to raid us here on the flank, and if we just slow it down a little bit, we're going up to his gold line to see if he was on gold, and he wasn't. We have 14 on food, 11 on wood, 3 on gold. He's 12 on food, 17 on wood, and 0 on gold. So he's super wood heavy because of the archers. And you can tell our villagers, I think, are beginning to idle. No, they're not yet, but they're starting to chew up through that food. We'll go back up to regular speed now. So we check out the gold. We see he's not on it. We still have a little bit of a point lead here. One thing that I didn't do a really good job of was paying attention where the scout or where the deer were on my mini map. So that's one thing that you should always try to do, is keep track on your map where the deer are at, where the food sources are at, and those are your raid locations. So I knew that there was berries here. Eventually, I'll keep track of that, but I did kind of lose track of where the deer were at. So I come here and I'm just kind of doing some damage with my horseman, kind of bulling his army, and I was hoping to bull out this army here. These 8 archers would lose against a horseman and 6 Mangudai. Even though it doesn't look like they would. They would, because if he doesn't focus that horseman first, he's gonna definitely lose that fight. So he's rotating out onto these berries here. So again, this is where we come in and try to get a good timing, a raid, and we do pick off a villager, which was nice. But behind this, we're just gonna hit the other side with the horsemen. Wow. Okay, so I misclicked here and I sent them up and through when these horsemen probably just should have stayed and worked on this wood line. We could have killed 2, 3 villagers on the wood line easily. So a little bit unfortunate there. Also, this food here, if we had rotated onto these berries, that would have been pretty big. He does rate us here. We lose a villager, but we do kind of garrison in decent amount of time. We're trying to build up enough wood for our second team. It's not happening, and we do lose our horseman here. So you can see the military count is in his favor right now, 16-8. But it is noted, to note that our 8 is all cavalry, so we do have basically double the HP pool. Army value 1120. This is 2,100. Destroyed value worker kills. We've killed 780, and he's killed 1,010. So not entirely sure. I've killed 3 villagers, destroyed value, and worker kills. So, okay, I've got 3 worker kills. He's got 2 worker kills and 780 value and 1,010 value. So not really sure about that. Maybe that's destroyed army value. Okay, so I've killed less army than he has. Okay, that's probably what that means. Or just the overall total destroyed value. So army and villagers. And army value in general right now. Yeah, so once my horseman Mangudai just spawned, my army value went up. So you can see he's a lot more heavily invested in his army right now than I am. We're booming up. We are dropping our second TC now. And kind of a funky fight in here. We've got 3 horsemen and our Mangudai. And this looks like a fight that I probably shouldn't take. And it's only because of this knight. If this knight wasn't here, I would 100% take this fight. No second thoughts. Because this knight is here, this is probably kind of a bad fight to take. But you can see we do thin out his numbers quite a bit. And that's kind of just the objective here, just to thin out numbers. Don't let him get too snowbally with the archer mass. We do lose our Mangudai, but yeah, it's a trade that I'd rather take. And now he's taking actually the point lead here. And you can tell villager-wise, he's pulled quite a ways ahead. And that's on 1 TC. So he's probably done a good job of not idling his TC. And he does have his mining upgrade. We also have our +1 archer upgrade, and we're getting our +1 ranged upgrade. And this upgrade is probably what I should have gotten before the +1 damage upgrade. Here we're kind of rotating villagers onto deer, so we have to pull villagers back. And yeah, he's kind of pushing us forward here. We're just rallying and getting some numbers up. Losing that force was kind of unfortunate, but I don't know. I probably could have not taken that engagement. And yeah, I could have been hitting this food for sure instead of that. So it's no biggie though. I mean, it's gonna be a rough match, but it's still winnable. Even though the worker count is way different. I mean, 6 workers. I mean, it's not end of the world different. The big thing is I've got double TC, so I can close that gap. And he's kind of burning down my Uvu, but my Uvu depletes at this time right now, so I was totally fine with losing that Uvu. I'm taking these Mangudai and just kind of running around. They had come back from along, basically doing that all the way around. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send this horseman and these scouts off to go raid. So send them off onto control group 2, and we're going to go see what we can see over here on the gold. And there is a deer here, so I wasn't really expecting him to on deer. Kind of a mistake, not thinking about it, but yeah, it makes 100% sense that he would be rotating onto deer. And a little bit unfortunate that I run past. We lose a little bit of time, but we see it in time, and we start taking out these villagers. Take out a couple, and he's just kind of picking off stuff here. We kind of reposition our stables as the production queue drops. And we're getting a ton of idle time here on his villagers, which is really good. And we're an equal villager count right now. And then you can see idle villagers. He's got 18 villagers idle right now. Ish. Let's see. Yeah, he's got 21 villagers here running around. So half of his eco is being idled right now. He's got this big army back here. 6 knights. I thought it was more knights, but he's got some horsemen mixed in, so it definitely looked like it had more strength to it than it did. And our Mangudai are here, and you can see that we've basically cleaned up this army here with that those little horsemen, um, which is big because now we kind of have a foothold in his base, and we're starting to kill more villagers. So now you can see that we've killed 8 vills, and he's killed 4. Our villagers that were on deer, we pulled them off, we looped them around, we're building an uvu, and we're going to send them over and around. We see his army here, so we're going to garrison our vills before he gets us. And we're sending our Mangudai over here, make sure he's not dropping tower. This was kind of a big mistake, my Mangudai. I forgot that the second deer patch was here. So after shutting this down, where I should have rotated with from here was down here. If I had done that, I would have shut down his food production, and it would have been huge. That would have been another 28, like half of his arm eco idled again. So that's definitely a mistake on my part. Going to gold, you can see he's got a gold surplus. So the big thing was food. Food is key for all of his military units. Gold is for some of it, wood is for some of it. So definitely a mistake on my part not doing that. But the big thing is here, you can see he's got a huge military lead. Our ecos are pretty, we've flipped the table in terms of eco for sure. We're 9 villages ahead now. And we have a lot better military upgrades. He's running on no upgrades right now. And he does spot out our military wrapping around because of that tower. And we send in some cav. Just some villages over here, so we're gonna get some kills here. And behind here, he starts raiding this. We're trying to drop up a tower, but we're gonna have to fall back. And we got okay numbers here, so 4 horsemen and a scout should be able to take on one knight, which they do. And you can see we've killed a bunch of villagers, and he's got 30 villagers here on his deer. So again, it's a big thing where a little bit of we were checking out the berry patch, but I forgot that the deer patch was here. Definitely, that's one big tip is always remember where the deer patches are, where the boar patches are once you scout them, and where the berry patches are. You remember where that food is, and that's where your enemy is going to be. So we brought up some more horsemen. The same horsemen that had raided his wood line, and take out this tower. But we do get a fight that one night, and you can see 3 horsemen can push back 10 archers and kill them. And it's not even 3 horsemen; it's 2 horsemen and a scout. And the only reason don't win this is because the 2 knights show up. So we fall back our Mangudai again, and now we're coming over to scout over here because I know he's not on this food. He's still producing army. I know he's not under farms yet, so he must be on these berries. But I checked the berries already, and that's when I remember that. Oh yeah, where's the second deer patch? It's got to be down here somewhere. So I bring my Mangudai over. I find one lone villager over here, and I was like, oh shoot, just deer. So again, that's 2,000 food where this game could have been shut down a lot earlier with a little bit of cleaner play here. And he still has a nice army down here. You can see points wise, we've kind of flipped the script again. We've pulled ahead, and value wise, we've killed now more of his army, and we've killed a lot of villagers. And over here, we catch his villagers on that berry transition, and we kill a bunch of vills. Unfortunately, here, we only have a couple of Mangudai, but we do see his archers, and we fall back, and he's got more villagers over on these other berries. But there's not much we can do about that. Over here, we just garrison our vills. Then he pushes us, and we fall back. And we have transitioned into pastures here. We got 12 of them. So that's kind of keeping our eco balance. And we just kind of have to run away from these archers. And we bring in more horsemen to this front. But we're just kind of actually wrapping them around to find these food villagers and harass them. So this fight, basically one almost like 1 Mangudai in terms of the health. 1.2 against 10 archers is like 9.5 archers. 100% losing fight. We do lose some vills here, so we gotta fall back. And we've lost quite a bit of vills. We lose 5, a big hunk of vills over here because of this raid. And he evens up the villager kill count with that. So we both lost 20 vills. So it's definitely a good job on his part with those raids. Army value. His army value is just huge compared to ours right now too. Pretty much this whole game, we just have basically under 20 under 10, under 15 basically military this whole time. But we split them up and we're hitting a bunch of different spots at once. And that's kind of just the key of how we're able to kind of keep the pressure going. You know, massing up the big cav mass is nice to get that big decisive victory, kind of like here. You know, he forces all my idle. But, you know, behind this, you know, we're hitting over here a little bit. We do a little bit of damage. He does keep knights next to these villages, which is a smart move, protecting himself. Over here, we run a con under his gold, just checking it out, and he did have an archer mass there. Does a good job of shutting down all of our raids finally. So we're 20 minutes in, and all of our raids have finally been shut down, but we do have a slight lead, and the big difference is that we have a big villager lead at this point. We have 11 villager lead. So yeah, if he had gone second TC, I mean, he wouldn't have been able to afford second TC as much, but if he had, it definitely would have been different. We do kind of have overmined our gold quite a bit. You can see that we have 1,700 gold. Not definitely not good. Here you can see we're pulling army away by sending our horsemen around, and he's starting to kind of push us here in the front. We're just repositioning some buildings. My blacksmith, yeah, repositioning the blacksmith. If he burns a pasture 2 down, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, we're sending a horseman up and around. We're gonna catch, you know, he's got 8 villagers here, so we're gonna catch them on the way. Yeah, we're just moving our infrastructure back a little bit. We don't have a lot of infrastructure at this point, and so we have to be careful about losing too much. I do think we lose this archery range, unfortunately. You know, we have the 2 TCs and we have some towers, but we're definitely not going to be able to hold if he pushed us right now. We'd lose a lot of villagers. And we are raiding with the Mangudai. Horseman is raiding around too. He is sending a knight over to deal with that. Again, we were checking on these deer, assuming that he was going to rotate on them again, and he just converted everyone into wood villagers, basically. And this is in part why his military presence kind of slowed down, because he runs out of food, and that's you know, again, why that one raid from wood into food was huge. That I didn't pull that off, because it let him build up this big army. And he doesn't have a ton of infrastructure, so he's got 3 ranges and basically 2 stables. 3 ranges, 2 stables. So we got 1 range, 2 stables. We take this time to pull off a bunch of wood villagers and tap up the Kurultai with 15 villagers. So this is again a kind of a big turning point here. You know, he's aging up. He's looking to age up. Our Mangudai are coming down here. Again, we're gonna be able to kill these 8 villages probably. His 1 knight's chasing us. I don't think we pick it off. Yeah, it's able to escape with 1 life, which is crazy. But we're killing some more vills here, which is nice. And he's rallying a bunch of forces. But now we're up to the castle. And he is getting siege engineering now. And pushes. So we kill a few villages here, 6 vills, but then we get picked off. We try to escape with our Mangudai. I think, yeah. I was pretty sure they all died, so aren't able to escape there. We haven't transitioned back onto these deer. We just have transitioned into full safe eco, which is again maybe part of the reason we're a little bit not like optimized here. Definitely you don't want to be full pastures yet. And he builds this out of vision, which is a good move on his part. Yeah, his military value, you can see this whole time he's just had a lot more army than me, but it's kind of spread out everywhere, and that's kind of the advantage that we've had, is we've been able to spread them out everywhere. We're getting our veteran Mangudai upgrades in right now, and we're getting 5 Springwell towers. So all these towers are upgrading into Springwell towers, which came in a really good timing, to be honest. And I probably should have been upgrading these the second that we could. And I probably should have built a backline and towers as well, but no big deal. Big thing is we have our veteran upgrade here, and again, we're just tuning up villages here. We kill another like 6 villagers here, 7 villagers, and then we're in on this wood line. Kill a bunch of villagers on this wood line as well. And with these veteran Mangudai, you're pretty safe to dive under. Over here we have a couple of knights. Probably should have saved them. And over here we just have to kind of garrison all of our eco. But you can tell the villager difference right now. We're almost double his villager count at this point. I wasn't sure what to do with these villagers, if I was going to burn or try to repair this. So we try to repair the TC. And that commits his knights into this. And so we just have to garrison all of our vills. And because we garrison our vills, now these it's a lot of damage coming out from these towers. This is going on. Behind this, we had Mangudai try to raid over here. And we just run by these archers. And yeah, he's kind of chewing through our towers right now. But all of his knights are dead pretty much. He's just down to archers. Archers are getting picked off really quickly as well. There's a ton of arrows coming out of this. And every tower that he pulls is just, I mean, 5 villagers for the chopping block. But it's 5 villagers that are going to burn down these rams. And then we did bring our Mangudai over to this gold node. I was trying to find where he was collecting gold. And we found it here in the middle. So now we're going to start constricting his gold. Which, I mean, he's got 2,000 in the bank. But again, it's like the start of it. So we do stop this ram push. It was a really good push. It almost did. This almost got us. Again, the 5 springald towers was the difference. Honestly, if I had more towers in the back and they were springolds, if we had upgraded, we had enough stone to upgrade another 5. It wouldn't have been that close. We could have been one-shotting those rams with our springolds. But we have 4 knights out, so that's a really big thing here too. So we pick off these stragglers from that first initial ram push, and behind this, we've upped our infrastructure up. We're up to 5 ranges. We do have a prayer tent up, and we pulled off 10 villagers on the gold. So, you know, eco-wise, when it's all said and done, again, we've kind of pulled ahead. He killed a bunch of villagers there. He's at 44 villager kills, and we're at 56. So, it's definitely been a slug, but we have definitely a bit of an advantage in terms of how many villagers kills, and then just the villagers that we have. And he's tapping up with 12 villagers with the Royal Institute. Okay. So another big thing is we had this curl tie. I built it and I left it back there. If I had picked that up and I had to drop that here, that would have been really big. In healing some villagers, doing a little bit more damage, just little things. Over here we have another Mangudai mass, 6 Mangudai, and we just hit where his next food was gonna be. We knew the bears were kind of running out, and I knew he was trying to get on these bears. That's why I come over here, and we kill a bunch. Over here he's got 10 archers. So you know, once I got the attack pings, I kind of like double checked, but I see it's only 10 archers. With this less amount of Mangudai, you can win, and that's with my Mangudai over here shooting the wrong targets with these villagers. Oh, and that's okay. You know, we're just getting more villager kills at this point, so I wasn't too worried about it. I'd rather them go for these villagers instead of these archers, anyways. Because behind this, these couple of knights that I had, we're gonna clean up this gold node. Then I'm gonna bring them up kind of to where, you know, now that these archers are out of position, you can see that these archers, even though I wasn't fully focused on them, I still have 2 Mangudai left over. And we're building more Mangudai. We're rallying them over. Unfortunately, we're still rallying right next to here. We have 1 relic picked up, and we're going to pick up another one. And he's starting to get his upgrades. He did get the Iron Undermesh. And he's got, you know, he always gets the free attack upgrades. So we break down this 1 ram. He's starting to build some spearmen. But you can tell he's kind of transitioning into this. And now we're taking the military lead, where he's had the military lead this whole game, basically. And point-wise, he's dropped down a lot. He's down to 1,700, and we're up to 3,800. So at this point, the game is pretty much sealed 100%. And he does kind of see this, and he's going to tap out here. But we had a bunch of units of production, a bunch of knights here, and we're moving the curl tie up to this front. And from here, we're just going to push across. We've stabilized our eco kind of in the back. And yeah, he was about to get pushed off of these farms here too with these Mangudai. So pretty good match. Just to show like even though I had a lot less military than him almost throughout that entire match, um, just splitting up the troops and hitting in different spots was the difference. So villager count, you can see he was kind of ahead, and then got a good raid, and then we kind of kept it there. A little bit differences here and there. We had that. That's when he did that um, big ram push. And here's the military count. So yeah, we never passed 16 military till the 30-minute mark. Um, yeah, and we were able to keep this army of and part of it's because cavalry has a lot more HP than infantry, but we were able to keep this army that was a lot bigger than ours occupied and get some good raids in throughout that. Just enough to keep his villager count down. That was the big thing. Throughout that probably even though we were vastly outnumbered, we were able to keep his villager count down. If he had turtled up a little bit more, he probably wouldn't have the resources for it. So, for that size of an army. So, yeah, I guess we'll look at the. I've been playing with some buddies, some team ranked as well. Let's see, solo ranked. Yeah, so he just quit in this one. The Demi, on Dry Arabia, Malings. I'd like to see the build, because I ended up doing. I want to say I did the horseman drush, and this will be a good kind of a check to see kind of how viable it is. So the idea was if he's got there's going to do his pit mine. He's going to drop these houses. They have a little bit of health, and I should be able to burn them down and get a lot of resources if I hit them early. So that was kind of the theory. Let's say he's collecting wood, but we're gonna see what happens here. Oh yeah, Horseman Drush is coming out. First Horseman's being queued up at the 42nd mark, 43. You're gonna be rallied across. Um, yeah, we haven't seen it yet, and setting up. I'm surprised he's setting up a lumber camp first. Okay, he's remacroing his eco onto food and one villager onto his house. Running to his TC. He doesn't garrison. And yeah, so our first horseman's coming across. We're gonna hit at the 130 mark, so 130, 145, like usual. With this build, look at those sheep. 11 sheep to my 1, and that would have been really bad because I didn't have really a close food source to transition into. Definitely rough. So we start burning down here, and behind this we've got another scout on the way. We got villager production. We got another horse out, so um, fighting this scout also probably wasn't the best idea. A little bit of a mess up on my part there. So we're just trying to burn. I should have just stayed and burnt this. Like he could have just sat there doing damage to me, and we would have burnt this down. Um, it'd be probably on fire at this point. So I think if you do this, and if he responds with the scout to your horseman, do not PO off and try to hit this scout like I do. It's just not worth it. We can see that he's gonna get his Donzo out, and I'm pretty sure we could see that he dropped the barracks. Yeah, so we knew he was gonna get his spearman on shortly. So. And we switch on to this pit mine. Again, I don't know if that was the best move or not. And he's got Donzo out about the 3-minute mark. So at this point, you can have about two horsemen. I stopped making cav because I didn't want to overcommit since I saw that he was going to be making spearmen. There wasn't going to be much I could do, so I just had to fall back. I did a grand total of no burn downs. I guess enough for Rast just to slow him down a little bit, but you can see he's got enough gold to age up. He got tons of food, and I'm just starting my gold collection, and I'm collecting off of berries. So overall, really bad. Part of it was the spawn, and part of it was the sheep collection that I got. I finally picked up 4 more sheep here with my con, so my food production kind of stalled out. But even so, um, if you do this kind of push, you kind of have to commit to just burning down the house, even if that scout tries to hit you. 100% commit to just burning down the house. And trying to burn down the pit mine, might not be a bad idea. It's just I don't think you can do it in time before this first Donzo is gonna come out. So yeah, definitely a little bit of things to learn here. It might not be worth it even trying to do that early aggression against Malians. It might just be worth going fast H2 into Mangudai, but it's interesting. Like if I get this burn down on this, I get that raid bonus. It's going to be a little bit helpful. It's going to be nice. It's not going to. The raid bonus is going to be end of the world. But if I can get the burn down completely on this thing, sends villagers over and we're able to harass them off of there. That's a big thing, because he gets housed. He basically would have been housed off of that. So that's definitely just something that we could have done a little bit better there for sure. Over here, we've picked up some sheep with our scout and our horseman. We're bringing that back. We have set up our uvu, so stone collection has started, and our stables in the back. So from here, the idea was to transition into Mangudai to deal with this. After dropping off these sheep, I definitely need to come across here. Even if I had my horseman right here, like right when he starts building it, I'm not going to stop him. Donzo were right here. So, and he has a good reaction time there. Like, up, starts attacking, and he's reacting immediately. So, I just have to fall back from these spearmen. They can kind of poke me down a little bit. And he's on the deer now. Oh, he's going cattle ranch. So, interesting. So he's going to make cattle out of this into there. Free gold from the pit mine. It's a good. It's an interesting build. It's definitely a good build. I definitely want to try it out a little bit with him. And then he just quits out. So, we were kind of in a bad spot. We're raging up after him. I think it's viable to do the horseman drush. I don't think, this wasn't a very good example because it's my first time trying it out. But I think if you commit to that first house, if he pulls villagers, perfect. If he pulls a scout to defend it, just burn down the house. If you can get the burn down, that's really the big deal. Because then you can possibly house him. Because if you can house him, that spearman isn't coming out. So until he gets up a house, so it delays it a little bit. So I think it's decent, but I don't. I'll have to play some more matches. I think ideally against Malins, I think you just want to go into fast H2, fast castle, really, because they're all light infantry. So, yeah, that was pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.